total revenue and elasticity. The elasticity of demand tells the supplier how their total revenue will change if their prices change. Total revenue is basically total quantity sold times the price of the goods. So basically P times Q. Let's look at it here on this graph. Here's our demand curve. At $4, 100 unit is the quantity that's demanded. So the price is 4 and the quantity is 100. Multiply the two together and you come up with what's your revenue. So basically our revenue will be $400. Now if elasticity of demand is elastic, a rise in the price will lower the total revenue. And the price and total revenue, when you have an elastic good, or if you're on the elastic part of your demand curve, price and total revenue move in opposite directions. Let's look at this graph here to illustrate that point. Elasticity on this part of the demand curve is greater than 1. Now at this point they are selling 2 units and collecting, and the price is $8. At $8, 2 units is sold. So our total revenue is $16. Now if they raise the price, they will gain an additional dollar up here from selling from the $1 the higher price, but at the same time they will lose 1 unit of sale. So thereby they will lose $8. So they gain $1 and lose $8. So they lost $7. 9 times 1, you can look at that as $9. 8 times 2 is 16. So you see that our revenue went down. If elasticity of demand is equal to 1, it basically does nothing to the total revenue. Let's look at it here on this graph. Elasticity equals 1, or we are on the unit elastic part of this demand curve. And our total revenue is $24. At $4, 6 units sold, so our total revenue is $24. If we raise the price, we gain an additional, if we raise the price in this example, we raised it by $2, so we gain 2 times 4, that's $8, this size of this here. And at the same time we lose, let's see, 2 units here, and we lost $4, so that's $8 that we lost. So our gains and our losses are pretty much equal. So we end up, our total revenue does not change. If elasticity of demand is inelastic, or elasticity of demand is less than 1, a rise in the price increases the total revenue. Prices and total revenue in this case move in the same direction. Let's see what we mean by that. In this part of the demand curve, elasticity is less than 1, or we are on the inelastic portion of this demand curve. Now if we rate at $1, there's 9 units being sold, so we gain, our revenue is $9. By increasing the price from $1 to $2, moving from G to H, what happens is that we gain $8 of revenue, and we lose only $1 of revenue. So basically we are ahead by $7. Let's sum this up. So on the upper portion of a demand curve, when demand is elastic, it is very responsive to change in price. So, and that has an effect on total revenue. Raising price up here will decline the revenue. On the lower part of the demand curve, where the demand is inelastic, demand is not very responsive to changes in prices. In this section, when you raise price, it actually increases the total revenue. So up here elasticity is greater than 1, and in the lower portion where elasticity is less than 1, you can see that we have different result on total revenue. With elastic demand curve, or within the elastic portion of the demand curve, a rise in the price lowers the total revenue. With an inelastic demand curve, a rise in the price increases the total. Look at this graph. Here's our quantity. We're measuring quantity on this axis, and we're measuring quantity over here. So this quantity here is the same as this quantity here. On this axis we're measuring the price. This is basically going to give us our demand curve up here. Down here we're going to measure something called total revenue, which is basically P times Q. We're going to see how total revenue moves as quantity moves. So as price goes down, we sell more, and this upper portion, and our total revenue increase. Then in the middle where elasticity of demand equals 1, that's where the apex of this total revenue curve is. And then after this point, where elasticity becomes smaller, total revenue as price goes down.